Deep in the sweltering river basins of sub-Saharan Africa, an apex predator lies motionless in the tall grass. A male lion, weighing over 400 pounds, should be the undisputed king of these grasslands. His roar usually sends herds of zebra and wildebeest into a panicking frenzy, and his sheer physical power can bring down a buffalo in seconds. Yet today, this formidable hunter cannot even stand. He is collapsing under the weight of an army so small that a single individual can fit on the tip of a human finger. Thousands of tiny dark shapes crawl through his thick mane, burrowing deep into the soft, unprotected skin around his eyes, ears, groin, and paws. They are Bont ticks, notorious parasites engineered by millions of years of evolution to be relentless blood-sucking machines. Each female tick cements herself to the lion's flesh, driving needle-sharp mouthparts straight through the epidermis to tap into the warm blood vessels beneath. As they feast, they inject toxic saliva loaded with anticoagulants and immunosuppressive compounds. A light infestation is an annoying itch, but thousands of ticks feeding simultaneously on a single host is a slow death sentence. The lion's body is deteriorating rapidly. The massive blood loss leads to severe anemia, leaving his gums pale and his vital organs starved of oxygen. Bacterial infections fester at hundreds of inflamed bite wounds, creating open sores that attract swarms of biting flies. Lethargic, feverish, and severely weakened, the big cat can no longer hunt. If his condition does not change soon, starvation or rival males will finish what these microscopic monsters started. In the brutal calculus of the wild, a solitary lion cannot groom himself effectively. His rough tongue can lick his forelegs, but he cannot reach behind his neck, inside his ears, or along his spine. Instinctively driven by fever and the unbearable agony of an inflamed skin, the dying king drags himself toward the cool edge of a nearby riverway. He wading slowly into the shallow, muddy water until the current laps against his ribs. This waterhole should be a death trap. Crocodiles lurk in the murky depths, and rival predators constantly monitor the shores. But as the lion submerges his feverish body, he isn't just seeking relief from the blazing African heat. He is surrendering his body to an extraordinary aquatic and aerial cleaning crew, an improbable alliance of animals that will perform one of the most disgusting yet breathtaking rescue operations in nature. As soon as the lion settles into the water, the movement beneath the surface begins. Attracted by the scent of organic debris, blood, and dead skin, school after school of freshwater fish emerge from the submerged roots. Banded cichlids, African carp, and small tilapia dart toward the floating lion. Normally, a lion would swat at anything touching his body, but the overwhelming sensation of relief keeps him dead still. The fish descend upon the lion's submerged lower body like an underwater surgical team. Their tiny, specialized jaws pick precisely at the bloated ticks hanging from the lion's belly and inner thighs. The water acts as a lubricant, softening the hardened wax-like cement that ticks use to lock onto the lion's hide. With surgical precision, the fish nip at the parasites, tearing them free from the lion's raw flesh and swallowing them whole. Each bloated tick is a dense packet of protein and fat for the fish, a high-calorie feast delivered directly into their aquatic domain. As the fish strip away the parasites beneath the waterline, the commotion above the surface draws the attention of the sky. A flock of yellow-billed and red-billed oxpeckers, accompanied by opportunistic cattle egrets, swoops down from the riverbank trees. These birds are specialized parasite hunters, equipped with scissor-like beaks and razor-sharp curved claws designed to grip tightly onto thick fur and coarse hide. The birds land directly on the lion's head and back. Under normal circumstances, landing on a top predator's face would be suicidal, but the birds know this giant is incapacitated and desperate. They begin their relentless work. An oxpecker scuttles up the lion's forehead, working its beak through the thick hair around the big cat's eyelids. It snips away a cluster of engorged ticks, swallowing them instantly. Another bird hops directly into the lion's ear canal, one of the most sensitive and vulnerable areas on his body, plucking out adult ticks that have been draining blood undisturbed for weeks. The lion closes his eyes, letting out a low, gravelly sigh of relief. The intense pain of thousands of tearing mouthparts is gradually replaced by the rhythmic, delicate plucking of dozens of feathered and finned caretakers. The oxpeckers scissor their beaks through his mane like a fine-toothed comb, clearing out crushed ticks, maggots, and dead tissue from the festering wounds. Meanwhile, the cattle egrets stand vigil on the surrounding muddy banks, picking off ticks that drop free from the lion's fur into the shallows. This interaction looks like a miracle of cross-species compassion. But nature is governed entirely by cold evolutionary survival. The birds and fish are not acting out of mercy. They are exploiting a massive, concentrated food source. In fact, this relationship straddles a delicate line between helpful symbiosis and light parasitism. Oxpeckers will occasionally peck at open wounds to drink the lion's blood or harvest scab tissue, keeping the cuts open longer than necessary. But for a lion on the brink of death from severe parasitic load, the trade-off is overwhelming. The removal of thousands of blood-draining parasites far outweighs the minor tissue damage caused by the bird's beaks. Hours pass under the equatorial sun. The aquatic and aerial cleanup crew works tirelessly, systematically scouring every square inch of the big cat's body. Hundreds of fish clean the submerged quarters, while dozens of birds strip the exposed fur bare. By late afternoon, the sheer volume of ticks on the lion has been drastically reduced. The constant irritation that kept his nervous system in a state of perpetual shock begins to subside. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the savanna in shades of deep amber, the lion slowly pulls his body out of the mud and climbs onto the dry bank. He shakes his heavy coat, sending droplets of river water flying into the air. He looks visibly transformed. The relentless itching that drove him to exhaustion has stopped. His skin, though still scarred and raw, is finally free from the toxic onslaught of the parasite army. Over the next several days, the lion's body begins the long process of recovery. Without thousands of ticks constantly draining his red blood cells, his bone marrow produces new blood, slowly restoring his energy and strength. The open sores dry out and begin to heal under the dry African breeze. Within a week, the fever is gone, his muscles regain their explosive tone, and his hunting instinct reignites. A fortnight after his near-fatal ordeal at the river, a booming roar echoes across the valley. The king has returned to claim his territory, his voice vibrating through the chest of every animal within 5 miles. To an outside observer, his recovery might seem like the sheer strength of an apex predator overcoming illness through raw power. But the truth hidden beneath the surface of the savanna is far more complex and humbling. Without the tiny fish lurking beneath the muddy river currents, and without the sharp-beaked birds scouring his mane, this magnificent beast would have rotted away from the inside out, felled not by a rival lion or a hunter's spear, but by thousands of microscopic parasites. In the wild, no creature, no matter how powerful, terrifying, or dominant, can survive completely alone. The grand balance of the wilderness relies on an intricate web of hidden alliances, where even the king of beasts must occasionally bow his head and surrender his life to the smallest creatures in the forest.